Especialistas dizem que o grafeno tem potencial para movimentar 4 trilhões de reais nos próximos 10 anos.
Um material que é 300 vezes mais resistente que o aço, extremamente fino, pode provocar e deve provocar uma nova revolução tecnológica.
Um condutor de eletricidade mais eficiente do que o cobre, além de ser um material melhor para a fabricação de produtos eletrônicos.
Eletrodomésticos que tomam iniciativas sozinhos para ajudar na administração de uma casa. Uma internet superveloz que permite cirurgias à distância. E até carros voadores que prometem revolucionar o trânsito nas cidades.
A inteligência artificial é encarada como uma grande oportunidade por uns e como uma ameaça por outros. A computação cognitiva pode auxiliar com a automação de inúmeras tarefas que incomodam o ser humano. E, ao mesmo tempo, muitas profissões podem desaparecer, gerando desemprego.
Como adaptar o mercado de trabalho a essa quarta revolução industrial? Milhões de empregos podem ser ameaçados pelos robôs. Na medicina, máquinas já conseguem diagnosticar doenças, incluindo tipos de câncer, tão bem quanto um médico humano.
It could be terrible, and it could be great. It's not clear.
Right.
But one thing is for sure, we will not control it.
A nossa capinha.
A capinha. Coisa à toa, né? Isso aqui protege contra a poluição eletromagnética. Isso aqui é um micro-ondas. Você fica com o micro-ondas meia hora, começa a esquentar a orelha, não começa? Está cozinhando neurônio, está estragando neurônio. Então hoje existe a proteção. Isso aqui é um problema seríssimo. As crianças na Califórnia, nos últimos 10 anos, dobraram a incidência de tumor de cérebro, porque o pai dá para a criança de 7 anos de idade um celular. E o crânio, a calota craniana da criança tem a metade da espessura de um adulto. Essa onda entra e prejudica, e começa a dar tumor.
A major U.S. government study on rats finds a link between cell phones and cancer, an explosive development in the long-running debate over the health effects of mobile phones.
Last night we talked about how the fifth generation of wireless technology, or 5G as it's being rolled out worldwide without safety testing. Let me say that again, without safety testing. And how we've got scientists and doctors and environmental organizers saying, stop this. Because in terms of the effects of wireless radiation, the science is in. Wireless radiation can lead to cancerous heart tumors, brain tumors, DNA damage. Wireless radiation is linked to infertility, to autism, Alzheimer's, and more. And guess what? All the effects that I just listed, those are some of the effects that are known according to the technology that's being seen today. So, what happens when we roll out the next technology, 5G? How much more powerful is 5G? How much more troublesome might it be?
The race to 5G is moving forward at full speed, but not without some international controversy. President Trump tweeted today that he, quote, wants to see 5G and even 6G technology in the United States as soon as possible. He also wrote, American companies must step up their efforts or get left behind.
The Internet of Things. So this is not just mobile devices, but it's everything around us. So think about your connected car, connected traffic lights, exercise equipment. Everything around us will be digitized and connected to networks.
Thing. A lot of people don't realize what they're involved in. Just the simple fact of using credit cards, using smartphones, and all of this automated system is the problem. People don't realize what it is. This system we're being led into is the New World Order in itself. The 5G smart grid is the New World Order, the Internet of Things. It's the New World Order. So the 5G grid not only will track everything you do, it can be used as a weapon. It can be used as a microwave cannon. It can be used to disable people, to track people. It can see through walls. It can see what you're carrying, whether you're carrying money, whether you're carrying a weapon, all of this sort of stuff. So it's very, very evasive. Plus it does all sorts of damage to us biologically. It damages our cell structure, damages the cell structure of all food, changes the cell structure of everything that it comes into contact with. And the 5G system will be a blanket system, blanket wave of communication. We've got so many people distracted on so many issues trying to address the government corruption and all of this stuff. They're not realizing that this is all rolling out, and in another 3 or 4 to 5 years, they're just going to wake up and go, what happened? How did I suddenly find myself in this digital prison? Because that's what it is. That's virtually what it is. It's a digital prison, a digital control grid. And if you want to participate in this society, you're going to have to participate in the smart grid.
We have stories about artificial human beings being created with superpowers.
Yeah.
And souls being transmuted into other bodies. And you name it, it's been in sci-fi.
Yeah.
And we now have a generation that's been absolutely spoon-fed all of this.
Yeah.
So they're ready.
Oh, yeah.
And you go into this at great length.
Yeah, in fact, we have a whole section there. How are they programming people to accept this, Terminator reality, really?
Right.
With you got drones flying everywhere and, and all being controlled, unmanned, all automated and controlled by AI. And we dealt with the movies. I really think that movies are not just entertainment. That's what we've been conditioned to think.
Right.
Movies are a propaganda tool. And movies are utilized today, I believe, to prepare us for the future that is being built for us, whether we like it or not. Mm-hmm. And so, back to the Terminator thing. If anything, they did a fantastic job of predicting and showing us what's coming. And you're right. You look at every basic superhero movie scenario that's going on right now, whether it be Marvel, whether it be DC Comics and all that stuff, that's the biggest craze. What are these people? It's all about this super technology, this Skynet scenario. You could tap into this global system. You got artificial intelligence and creating the super intelligence that either becomes a threat or then some would say, no, it's going to benefit.
And when we get to that point, then we've got the entire human experience being controlled by a machine, which will dictate everything according to an economic value and dictate everybody's value according to their economic worth. So this is a very, very bad situation for mankind to be led into under the guise of convenience and making our lives easier. It's really not going to do that at all. It's going to be used to lock down the world because underneath it is the surveillance system that is the smart grid, and underneath that is the weapons system that it can be turned into if you don't comply with the smart grid. And it gets to the point where if you do decide not to comply, you become a dissident, they can simply switch you off, switch your chip off. And once it's all digital and you need that chip to get into your car, to get into your house, to access your bank account, to buy things, it's all automatic, suddenly you're locked out of the system. So there's no hope of dissent. There's no hope of free thought. There's no hope of questioning any of this. You just have to simply go with the flow.
But did you know that Google back in the day, they admitted the reason why they came out wasn't about another search engine. Their desire was to build artificial intelligence. Watch this little nugget.
I did talk to Larry Page when Google first started, because I was really perplexed about why would anybody make a new search engine when we had Alta Vista, which was the current search engine. It seemed good enough. And he said, oh, it's not to make a search engine, it's to make an AI.
AI? Larry Page, Sergey Brin, the two co-founders of Google, I thought they was just all about just a search engine. So what did this guy spill the beans on? They admitted at the very beginning, no. We're here to create AI. And you go, well, how are they going to do that? Well, the search engine is just one thing. Because you know what you get from a search engine? Information. You get patterns of behavior. You get databases. You get all kinds of information. What do you got to do in order to actually create a true artificial brain? Well, there's a problem that they've run into, and it's called the common sense knowledge problem. Okay? And that's basically the fancy word of saying there's no shortcuts to creating a true artificial intelligence. Right? You have to manually hand feed it every single day information, just like we receive information. Right? How do we develop intelligence? The human brain. Every day that we've been alive, we receive information through the eyes and the ears and the five senses, right? Well, that's what they ran into. You can't do a shortcut. In order to truly mimic the human brain, artificial intelligence, you have to hand feed this AI system every day as much information as you can. That we want to create AI. Because listen to all the things, the information that Google is now getting off of us. It started with the search engine, okay, but what do they got now? They got search engines, they got emails, they got databases, they got photos, they got satellites, you name it. By the way, did you know, and this is still in print, you could check this out, did you know that Google admitted, the founders, Sergey Brin and they admitted, and Larry Page, that they also not only want to create AI, that's why they're here, quote, this is a direct quote, we want to be like the mind of God.
So when you've got a system that is putting an economic value on every human life and every human action, this is a psychopathic system that will discard people if they cannot pay for every action they perform. So that's a dangerous thing to have. Basically, you're putting this system in place, which can be used as a weapon system, and you're giving control of it to the system itself. So this is a dangerous thing. This is kind of like the internet building its own immune system, if you can think of it that way. You know, automatic defense against hackers, or automatic defense against viruses, or automatic defense against all of this sort of stuff. So you get to the point where the internet becomes fully autonomic in every action that you do. When you go and you pay for your train, you go and pay for your coffee, you pay for everything. It's just all automatic. No one has to think about it. No algorithms have to be run. Nothing has to be done. It's all fully functional, fully automatic. But once you get to that point where it's fully autonomic and the system controls everything and is controlling the flow of everything, then basically we lose control of the internet at that point. So the system itself has lethal autonomy. So anybody starts a problem, system just takes them out. But at that point, we've lost control of the internet. And then we're in the point where if the internet does something, or that the AI does something, dictates some action that the company doesn't want, or people don't want, and they want to change it, or the machine won't let them change it. And then they realize they've lost control of the internet, so they decide they need to get into the internet to regain control of it. What happens then if the internet views them as the threat to the system? And then it decides that it doesn't differentiate between humans. All humans are the same. Humans are now the threat to the system, and it controls the 5G grid, so it can just simply eliminate the threat. So that's the way we could go. That's the possibility of what evil AI could do. And whether that's evil, or whether it's bad, or whether it's malicious, well, no, it's not. It's simply it defending itself, because we're creating a system and giving it cyber lethal autonomy for world security, and it believes the system needs to function as it is for world security. If we become a threat to that system, suddenly we are the threat to world security, and the system takes us out, because that's what we programmed it to do.
But in Daniel, he is said to worship a God whom his fathers knew not. And this is a very powerful, strong God. You go to Revelation and read about what he's able to do, call down fire from heaven and so forth and so on.
Yeah.
And it all sounds like high technology controlled by the Antichrist. Yeah. And this God whom his fathers knew not, could that God be the God of artificial intelligence? Maybe a computer God that comes into its own and appears to have its own life.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah. Well, and what's interesting, you look at the development with artificial intelligence, and people need to realize this, Gary, artificial intelligence is not coming. Artificial intelligence is already here. And it's here in many different facets and forms. There's a race to see who can get to the top, like Russia's leader has forewarned. But you look at that and you go back to the Antichrist. You also go to Revelation 13 with the Antichrist and the image. What is this image that people will worship? And some are starting to wonder, when you begin to realize behind this technology, could this be some sort of artificial intelligence image and what have you? And you're thinking, well, people, would they really worship an image? Well, yeah.
It's what's called the image of the beast.
Right, exactly. But you look at also not just the development of artificial intelligence for the military, but just in general, we have people right now, you see their hearts wanting an antichrist worship scenario. They don't want there to be the Christian God, but they do want to worship something.